Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first. Well, actually, it's not the very first, but the first of a series about Railway Empire 2. Um, I've been away for a while, as most of you probably have noticed, and that's due to personal reasons, of which I don't want to get into that much. Just let's keep it to I had a lot of my getting a lot on my plate at some point and combine that with a full-time job, and on top of that having to do lots of housekeeping stuff in the weekends, plus doing the recordings in the weekends. All of that was getting a little bit too much, so I had to take a break from recording. And while I took that break, I decided to get a look at the games I'm doing and wondering whether or not I should change some. And one of the games I decided to change is the series I did about Transport Fever. I remember I've said that I would end the game when we reached the year 2100. But the thing is, the game will get an update some point. I have no idea exactly when, but it will get an update at some point. But in general, nothing will change from the current year I was in, I think 2050 or something, up to the year 2100. So the only thing I can actually do or could do was making my lines more efficient, more or less, adding new stuff, and that's it. Basically repeating the same thing over and over again. So I was like, would that be interesting? And from a personal point of view and a viewer's point of view, I was like, no, not really. However, I do like transportation trading games. I mean, I've got the Port Royal and the Patricia Free series running as well. So I was looking for a replacement, and I've been playing Railway Empire quite long already. I like the game. So I was like, you know what? Let's focus on that one. I've done 2 episodes to show the difference between the two games while riding along. But this time I'm going to do the full series. So while we just keep watching the change of scenery on the background for a while I keep rambling, Railway Empire is just transporting goods, people, mail from one city to another and from rural areas to cities where raw materials are turned into goods which are used to either grow the city or to be shipped to another city so that city can grow. That's basically it. It's a very simple version of Transport Fever, and it's actually more similar to the old Railroad Tycoon games, which also means I can play against competition, which I certainly will do, and I can even buy up and merge my company with that of the competition after having bought all their stocks. The thing I still miss is the competition using all that money to start a new company. Then we can continue doing the same thing, but at least we're able to merge our company with that of the competition and grow even bigger. Now, there are a few things, so let's start up with a new game because there's a lot to tell. and I will do a custom game. Custom games will give me the option of using several maps. First of all, we have North America, and I can pick the whole map, or as you can see, West Coast, Mexico, Rockies, Great Plain, Eastern Canada, the East Coast, the South, and that's it. So I'm not going to read up everything, the description. Usually I play whole map, but my preference goes to Europe. Even Europe has its um, sub maps. First of all, British Isle, and that's going to be a small game. We have Scandinavia, which means lots of mountains. Then we have France. That's pretty interesting because you have a little bit of everything actually. I mean, we got the mountains up here, the Alps and the Pyrenees. We got the flatlands, several river crossings, the nice southern coast of the Mediterranean. So all of that. Italy, basically a small city map, Mediterranean mountains, big mountains actually. We've got the German Confederation, although in 1830 that I don't know if it actually existed, but German Confederation is basically the old pre-empire before World War One, so city-states, etc. And it contains the low areas, the rivers, the mountain areas of the Harz uh, mountains. We even have parts of what's currently Poland, Russia. So lots of stuff. We have the Austrian Empire, actually Austria-Hungarian Empire. Because we have Vienna, but there's also Budapest. A little bit of Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, and part of Germany. Then we have Western Europe, which is northern and mid France, the Benelux, bit of England, bit of Germany, and of course the whole map. Like I said, I prefer the whole map, and although it's not my hometown, I will take the Dutch capital, which in 1830 actually was Amsterdam. So that's number one. I've tried it before, as you can see, managed the director rank, and we'll see about what we have to do. But trust me, the goals will be fun. Starting year 1830. The later I start, yeah, the more developments are done. But I always have to go back a little bit in time to do some of the research, and we'll get to that in a bit. So that's one. The next is to choose, I already picked the name, but the next is to choose the CEO I'm going to be. And in this case, either is Kay Bailey, or as somebody already pointed out, uh, is some, I forgot the first name, is some something Kingdom Brunel, one of the founders, big founders, one of the big robber barons in railroad history. Is some part, I think it was. And at least he was one of the big founders and one of the influential persons in railroad history. I think in Britain, but I'm not that good. He does show up in the Railroad Tycoon games, so for those of you who played those games, look him up. So I have named the company Nederlandse Spoorways or Dutch Railways, and they usually use NS in the apps and on the train. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the symbol on the train, but okay. Then our IKB has two positive and one negative flaw. The positive flaw, all locomotives require 10% less maintenance. It's the maintenance requirement we're talking about here, and that means that if a train requires a certain amount, let's say 60% maintenance requirement, so after 60% of a trip or something like that, I don't know how it's calculated, it would demand for maintenance that in this case the maintenance will happen after 66% and not 60. That's what it meant. I can improve this later, or maybe it means they are better suited, so spare parts are better, etc. But later I can actually improve this by research and by increasing some wages. By the way, what we see in the background here is actually a railroad car. And that's also known from the big railroad tycoons. They were traveling around in their own personal train, often from one meeting to another. Personal train to personal cars, showing the wealth, etc., etc. So, the next part of this guy, technical genius, 20% lower cost for tracks, tunnels, and bridges. Early in the game, that's really, really important. That 20% is going to save me a lot of money, making things a lot easier. And later I will do a lot of tunnels and bridges, mainly due to the setup I have in mind. And because of that, having a 20% reduction in cost is really nice. I mean, 1/5 for every euro I'm paying or dollar I'm paying or whatever currency you want to do, I will save 20 cents. And that, yeah, 20 cents here, 20 cents there, and by the time you are aware of it, you got a lot of money. There is, however, a disadvantage, and that's the bonus from express trains is 5% instead of 10. So my passengers pay a price for a ticket, and usually I get the 10% bonus over that. In this case, it's only 5. Is that a problem? Well, express is one of the main things you're going to transport. Express are basically passengers and mail, and they have a lot of income. So with that, yeah, it's important. However, in the end, it doesn't matter. You'll see. So there's a little bit of background about him, where he's born, etc., etc. I will scroll down so people can read the bottom part, which is actually one line. Yay! So that's one option. I'm not done yet. There's more options. The next option, Bati Shilo. I haven't changed anything, but his positive traits, intimidating, and shady deals. And acquire factories from a city without an auction is nice because if you're playing on a map where the AI is in the same city as you are, and you want to buy a factory, the AI is always going to bid, unless they don't have the money, but they're basically always going to bid on that. So you're always going to pay more as you're willing to. In this case, with him, if the AI is in a city I'm in, I can actually force a city to sell me the factory without an auction. So the AI is not able to put a bid on it and get a chance to get that factory instead of me. There's also 20% chance of refunding the cost of an auction, which means you're going to do an auction for stuff, and that's not only the factories and the rural industries, but also technology at some point, and you may get it back. Now invest 1 million and you have a 1 in 5 chance to get that million back. If you get it back, you can invest that 1 million in something else instead of the auction. It's that simple. There is a disadvantage, and that means tracks, tunnels, and bridges are 30% more expensive. Of course, there's also the background for those who are interested in it. Basically, the name already says so. He is a gangster using intimidation, shady deals to get what he wants. So it may be a good start early on when you want the city to do sell off industries to you, because industries can make a lot of money, and it's often very nice if you're able to keep industries according to your own wishes and not according to that of the AI. But 30% higher cost for tracks and tunnels is eventually going to break up, especially tunnels and bridges. So he's a no-go. But I can actually already spoil things, but I think everybody may know which one I will choose anyway. Then we have our first lady, entrepreneur Hélène Girard. Chemin, Chemin Magique, basically the magical chimneys. So she is quite useful for having express tracks. Get 20% bonus. So for each dollar unit euro you make, you don't get 10% extra, but 20%, which is quite nice. Do that 5 times and you've earned a complete euro extra. Staff is also more efficient, which is also nice because staff efficiency has its influence on maintenance, on speed, on security, ticket prices, a lot of stuff. I'll show that later. Problem: maintenance is 20% more slow. So for those while reading the background, that means that trains in general stop longer at the stations as they do for the competition, which also means that after every 5 stops I make, every 5 turns I have maintenance. No, sorry, after every 5 stops with maintenance, my competition has already done 6 stops. That's a disadvantage. So, yeah, then we have the professor, and I have been trying him, hence the name. 60% cheaper locomotives. Very, very nice early on because that means you can invest a lot of money in tracks, buildings, lay down the longer lines, although in my case that doesn't really matter because of one of the settings I'm going to choose. But later in the game, 60% cheaper locomotives means that when you're going to have the very expensive ones for 100,000, I will pay 40,000, which means I can buy two locomotives for the price of one and still have money left. That's nice. Cost of auction are reduced by 30%. That's, yeah, nice. When it comes to auctions of industries and the rural industries, but for technology, I haven't been doing much in technology actually, because I found out that even without auctions, I'm able to get all the technology easily. At some point, I may when I have the money, but early on, not really. Disadvantage 50% less revenue for passengers and mail, which are basically express goods. So, yeah, and I do think there is a German railroad tycoon. I can't think of the name, which is basically based on him. So, yeah. But the 50% less revenue for passenger and mail also means that you have to focus more on cargo. And the thing is, cargo is used to grow cities, but passenger and mail are basically the things that should make you money. Because cargo has a fixed price. So you're always lagging with him, which is a good trade-off for that. Then we have the general. He's one of the persons you start to win the main campaign. I'm not going to do the main campaign this time though. But yeah, General Steam Ltd Limited GS. Secure logistics. 10% higher revenue from freight and mail. So mail is express, freight is basic. And I think the basic income from a car of freight is 4,000. So I get 4.4k instead of 4k. Track construction cost 30% lower, but that's compensated by 30% higher cost for tunnels and bridges. So basically, this works nicely on flat land or semi-flat land, but the moment you get to cross the river or going through mountains, this will work to your disadvantage. He's a good one to play on the American maps, or at least part of it. Of course, yeah, there's a description, but I leave that to you. I mean, you can pause this and read it easily. The last competition, Madam C.J. Wards and MW Manufacturing. It's pretty often. This is one of the ones I have to go down. Factory rural business upgrades are 30% cheaper. That's one of the things you have to do over time once you start entering the largest cities where a single factory or a single rural business isn't able to supply it with the materials anymore. You have to start improving, increasing the production, and having a 30% price cost on that is nice. All new buildings within a city are 50% cheaper. That's not only the industries, rather few more. Half price. It's nice. She's basically, and the name already says so, she's basically a railroad tycoon focused at industries. Transporting the goods is side. Is no. Transporting the goods is the way to increase your production. So she's an industry tycoon who is doing transportation of her own goods to reduce the cost from hiring other. That's basically it. But she's also not the best CEO because personnel cost 50% more. And that may over time be a problem because, yeah, eventually you will have to get more personnel. And I will scroll down for the last two lines. So those are my options. And out of those options, I will start with him. Like I said, I think that people smart enough could actually get the choice. So, engineer. Next, I'm going to use automatic signals for a reason. No city founding because Europe was already settled, so there's no city founding. If I want to do city founding, I have to play the US map, but not today. I will turn region concessions off because it's making things more of a challenge. If I have instant access all over the map, that's no. This is making it harder. It's also something I did in Railroad Tycoon. Having, I must have to buy the concession to a next region before I can actually exit it. And because of that, it means there's always a certain amount of money I have to reserve to do that. If I don't do that, I'm simply locked in the area I already have. Luxury rail lines, that's something from a DLC. And I didn't even go there um, when we started. But we have two DLCs. One is in Hungary and Turkey and Croatia, basically starting a part of the Trans-Europe Express from Vienna to Istanbul. The other DLC is Switzerland at the early start of the 20th century. But luxury rail lines was introduced with Trans-Europe Express DLC. And yes, I'm going to do that. Even though this guy, as we saw, is having a negative bonus from express trains, I will still do luxury rail lines because in the end it will make money. Electrification off. I put it on, but I won't be able to use it anyway until 1900. Since we're starting in the 1830s, that's going to take a while. So, initial funds 3 million, competition 3, strength of the AI advanced. So the AI will have some benefits. Measures are on regular tasks. Should I go for advanced? No inflation. Everything else at. Let's hope we get a nice task, because last time I ended up with advanced task, and on this map I had to get city very far away to 90,000 in 5 years or something. That's no. Like I said, I keep the rest the way it is, even the refunds, because even when I do refund, I will not get everything. So let's see what's going to happen. And yes, that pressure meter is our loading. Wow.
Good to
Pause.
see you. You have several competitors on this big map, and I've written down some tasks for you to start with. Follow them to get the highest score possible.
I always have to start in my hometown, by the way. So what we got, this is the whole of Europe. I'm starting at the right dot. Now, as you can see that we already have several things popping up. Connection bonus to prince breeding. Prince breeding is supplying us with wool. We don't see the sheep. We do hear the sheep. There they are. So the thing Amsterdam is producing, that's one of the nice things over here, is cloth. So that connection is a giveaway. Then we have something similar for the city of Groningen, which is actually producing beer. We have a farmstead over there, so guess what's used for beer? Indeed, grain. We have something similar for the city of Eindhoven. So in general, if I set up a transport system from Amsterdam to the breeding, or actually from the breeding to Amsterdam, and that's what I'm going to do, from the breeding to Amsterdam to the farm, the corn farm, to Eindhoven, I'm able to make 96, 100 and 280,000 money out of it. It will cost me, but I can get 280,000 money out of it. If I add the train going to this farm, Groningen, I will add another 330, so that's already 500,000. My cost will be more. My cost will be around 2 million, but I'm going to earn about 50%. Now, I was talking about regional concessions, and you saw the white markup. I can't connect to this farm yet, because as you can see, it's the Rhine province. This one is called Netherlands. You got Belgium and Luxembourg, which means this farm, sugar, is also off limits. That yet? Yes, I can. regions. This is the one I was hoping to show. Here you can see each and every region and everything that's, I'm going to zoom in a bit because it may not be shown. And I currently own the Netherlands region. As you can see, there are some stripes over here. That's blocked off, and this actually shows each and every region where I have to go to. So Belgium, Luxembourg, Normandy, etc. If I want to buy those, let's go back to the city. No, there's something else I need to do. Linz, La Rochelle, and Halmstad. I think I'm pretty lucky. If I want to connect this sugar farm to my network, I have to pay 150,000 for the Belgium and Luxembourg region, and that gives me access to the region, which means I can connect this farm Brussels branch and this part to my network. Eventually I will. It depends on my task. Now we have headquarters in Linz. Linz is Austria, and I'm curious to find out. Okay, General Steam is here. We have headquarters in Halmstad. Kesseldruk GmbH. So he is in Sweden. That may be a problem, because if he goes down, Skane, actually Scania, then part of Denmark, Jutland, Schleswig-Holstein, he will actually be able to cut me off, and usually I'm going over here. So that's one of the things I have to keep in mind. Halmstad. La Rochelle. Who is in La Rochelle? Madam Wards. Okay, so we got 2 males and 1 female competition. No cities, no business, and yeah, all the cities, including the amount of passengers. So we had Linz, Halmstad, and La Rochelle. Let's see. Never mind. Not important. At least not yet. That's part of the interface we have. So she starts in La Rochelle. Poitou region. Beer. Actually, that's a very good starting point. Because there are 5 goods a city always needs, and right now there are already 4 in this part. I'll get to that later. I don't have any rail lines yet, so let's go back to the cities and show that. Rail lines, my options by balance, by kind of locomotive, the time it has to stop, maximum speed. Usually I stick it by name. Flow of goods, that's one of my main screens over time. First of all, we have passengers. Every city has passengers. And as you can see, if I hover over the city, it actually shows where they want to go to. So from Amsterdam, it's to Groningen, Bremen, Hamburg, Hanover, Gütersloh, Kassel, Köln, along. I have to go down. Frankfurt, Worms, Luxembourg, Brussels, Lille, and we see if you're going down, that means Paris, Reims, probably Nancy. Can't zoom out more as it is. Yep, Nancy. So that's where passengers travel from Amsterdam. They want to go there. Which means from that point I can actually set up my railroad line knowing this. That also means that at some point I have to get another hub, like for instance Hanover, which is going to cover my next list of cities. To make sure. The same goes for mail. So passengers and mail always get same direction. But the rest is more important. These are the goods I can either transport, which are produced in the rurals, like that farm, or in the cities. Now, if I take a look at grain, all the green arrows are showing me to where grain farms are, by the way. We have a production of 2.8, we have 21 in stock. Groningen is having 1.2 in stock and good supply. Amsterdam doesn't. Livestock, same things. They all start with positive, but livestock is only used to make meat. Corn, as you can see. So my goal will be to transport grain, corn, lumber, meat, beer, wool, and sugar to the cities to start with. And later I will expand with cloth. And when that comes, I'm going down to the rural areas. That may actually take some time. So what else do we have here? Well, first of all, I will start in the back actually. Personnel. Now, currently 100% efficient. Maintenance needs of your locomotive. I don't have even. But if I increase the training wages, the welfare and the recruitment, quality will go up from training and the working hours. So I reduce working hours, better training. We get better quality. And the wages, employee welfare and recruitment will get more positions filled. So yeah, invest money and you get better personnel. That's for engineer. Stoker. Stoker is for speed. Train personnel, so that's the porter, the conductor, and stewards if they are over there to serve stuff. Give me more popularity and better ticket prices. People are willing to pay more for popular trains. We've got security to make sure that nothing serious happens, and that can happen because that's the last one, saboteur. I can actually hire a saboteur and do something against the AI. Except if I want a tier 1, it takes me 40 days, and if I want a tier 2, so the better saboteurs are actually costing me more money but less time. That's the best. Going to cost me 111,000, but basically it's success guaranteed. Well, this one, yeah, that may be one of those Yeah, sorry, but no, you missed. Ancient shed. Here we have our first train. And maintenance requirement 46% because of my CEO doing less, 10% less. Stevenson rocket. Officially released in 1829. Suitability mixed. Mixed means both passengers, mail or express goods, and freight. 35,000 feet price. Speed 26 kilometers an hour. Attractive power is how well it's doing on slopes. Popularity 160%. The more popular, the more people would like to ride in cars pulled by this train. Reliability is how often it will break down. So can you depend on the train? Yes or no? Maintenance requirements, like I said, how often it might, and consumption is fuel consumption. Now, usually I'm using my own paint job. I'm not sure if I will do this time. Then we have the Adler. It's not unlocked yet. That's because it becomes available by research. That we will go there later. Historical release year, suitability, prices, speed, etc. It's basically the same. It's slightly less popular as the Rocket, but yeah, it's a lot faster and more reliable. Also needs more maintenance. Makes sense because that train is already a little bit more sophisticated. Fuel consumption is a little bit higher too. Also making sense considering it's going faster. Then we got the Derwents, which was having a very unusual setup, as you can see. Really a freight train. So that's our first train really focused on freight. We have the Firefly, and we will unlock this one actually before 1840, but it's it's our first train suited for express, meaning it will only do the passenger and mail routes. And with 51 kilometers an hour, it is really good. Disadvantage is very bad in hilly terrain, while Derwent is very good. It has to do with the wheels. This one has three wheels of the same size. That one has the driving wheel being larger. And to go back, this train is having all three wheels being driven by this power steering. I won't go too much into the details, but that's basically the details. Then it was 4 or 5. The last one is G&M American. And as you can see, tractive power is 43% because it has two driven drive wheels. Wasn't that popular. It's also my freight train going 38 kilometers an hour. So it's actually better as the Derwent, except for fuel consumption. So yeah. Now, like I said, I'm usually doing my own custom color. And that means I'm going to do the color scheme based upon Dutch National Railroads, yellow and blue. Some trains you actually can't see it very well. Some trains you actually can simply. Wait. I can always go back to standard if I want to. But you'll see that over time this is actually starting to look quite nice. You can't see it right now because of the big not yet unlocked on it, but yeah, up here the rocket it's already showing nicely. Aging effect is simply the wear and tear. This is very bad. Nobody wants to go into a train looking like that. Everybody would like to have one like this. We'll go to 10%, just a bit. So that's the locomotives. Of course, we have the thing. Now we have research. I get 60 innovation points each month, and I'm starting out with 200 for free. And this is the whole research schedule for the entire game. We're starting out in 1830, and our first year where everything has to end when it comes to research is 1839, because in 1840 we start the next era. We get some new industries in 1840, so I won't show everything. Up to 1850 we got again industries, technologies available we have to do. And as you can see, innovation, prefab bridge parts, for instance, steel processing, nitro, company news, that's everything is having effect. So 1860 we got canned food and toys. That's an industry, that's a train. We'll get to that later at some point. Getting better and better. 1870 we're going to have cement. That's having. I never actually managed to get past 1860, 1870. I think I got 1870 before I can know. Yeah, I think I got something up to here and that's it. Yes, no, exactly 87. Even before 1870 I quit, so this series is already a nice challenge when it comes to that. In 1880 we get candy as technology, so that making things more interesting, because that means sugar will be starting to require getting a lot of demand. Then 1890 newspapers and military equipment, probably metal. Also, as you can see, we start to get our first electric locomotive. No, it's not true. Not the first. That's the first electric locomotive. So in 80 something, somewhere between 1880 1890, we can start to get electric stuff. You can actually choose. That's freight train. This is something making things better. As you can see, for Express we have research. We get our first cargo locomotive. We get another steam train for freight. Then we get into 1900s, and that's where things become interesting because oil, gasoline and cars, so more and more things are being demanded, but we also get more electric trains. Different bridges, and as you can see, Scotsman and Super Hudson eventually will end in 1910s, something like that, with the Mallet and the electric CAE 6/8 Mark III Crocodile freight train. So that's all the technologies we're going to do. And no, I'm not trying to make you dizzy. For now, there isn't much to choose. I can do two things. I can get this. Every passenger, every city I have a station in, I will get 5% more passengers. And I can 5% increase in ticket price too. That's two things. Or I wait 2 months because I need 300 points for this. Decrease the price by 5%. But in those 2 months I can make a lot of money. So I'm going to do this, which means 5 months from now, starting with February. So in June I'll be able to do that. After that I will slowly move over. Every time when I have the points available, and we can see that by the stars popping up here, I will pause the game and move over to here, and I will hover over the description. Makes things a lot easier as to explain everything now, because by the time I do get to the technology, people have forgotten about it anyway. So, leaving me with the last, my tasks, and this is going to be interesting. Task 1. Goal. Finished December 1832. Connect the cities Groningen, Eindhoven and Amsterdam. Yeah, right. Piece of cake. That won't be complicated. Because that's going to be what I want. But it's going to be what I want anyway. 10 different goods available in Amsterdam at the same time. That's more complicated. I have to go south because I need to transport 3,000 passengers from Paris to Auxerre. That means I have to buy at least 2, maybe 3 regions. Groningen, the city with the most citizens, that's going to be a problem. That's actually going to be a problem. But we'll see. 38% stock of Walter Bajong's company. That's possible, but if I'm able to do that within 10 years, yeah, I think I can. Quarterly profit of 5.76 million. That can be done because it's both freight and express and industrial income. 31 industries and business. That's going to be costly, but possible. Then 4 years later, 5.715 revenue from freight. That's possible. The loads of beer in the Schleswig-Holstein. That's possible because no, that's not possible. I think I have to check. That's the Schleswig-Holstein region. We got Hamburg. That means Golding should be able to produce beer. Hmm. That also means I'm getting very close to him. But I think he is there, Walter Pajong. That maybe? Yeah. And 26 cities to my rail network in 1850. That's actually one of the easier tasks. This is one of the harder ones. That one too. That's basically something I can do pretty fast. Anyway, let's start with the first task. Connect cities Groningen, Eindhoven and Amsterdam. Now, Schleswig-Holstein producing beer. So that means I have to grow Hamburg to the point that I can actually. I'll show you. So, Amsterdam. We have stock and demand because we haven't finished yet. This is just introduction. A full hour, but yeah. Hopefully it isn't boring. This is what we have, the stock. And from 35,000 citizens, they're going to demand milk. 40, they want vegetables. 45, they want fruit. 50, they want clothing. And so on. The reason clay and coal aren't listed is because you only need them for ceramics. But as you can see, every 5,000 citizens, and I'm currently at 19, every 5,000 citizens, starting at 35,000, we get stuff. And that's clothing, planks, liquor, dairy products, salt, furniture, ceramics. Later we're going to add the newspaper, the cement, the toys, canned food, etc. So things will improve over time. But that's what's in stock right now. Cloth industry has issue with production. Yeah. The issue is there's no demand. Currently delivery by train, nothing making sense because we don't have any rail lines. It is, however, as you can see, using currently zero point 0.4 of some goods, 1.6, but that's because of him, and zero point 0.2 a week. So I need to import grain, corn, wood, meat, beer, sugar, and wool. Everything up this list. Get a happy population and that going. Then we have our passengers, how they get there, travel time, passengers per week. I've got 14 passengers for Eindhoven. I got 40 for Groningen. None are traveling by train. I got 7 mail cars to each city each week. None of them traveling by train. Those numbers will change. Development, train use, and fulfillment of demand. That will show a nice graph. No, I'm not having a problem. That's the industry. As you can see, it tips 100% and drops again. Normal production 1.6 wool gives 1.6 clothing. City buildings, that's the last thing I can do No, not the last, almost last thing I do. At 50,000 citizens, I can start building a library, increase the city fulfillment of demand by 10%. So for each 10 wool that's in demand, a library is already giving me 1, which means my citizens are going to be more happy. Then at 70,000 I can build a museum, which means I will get 20% more passengers. And that cost will actually go up. At 90,000 I can build a university. It makes the city grow over 100,000, but it's also going to cost me money. Yeah, it's, as you can see, nothing happens because I don't have that amount of people. Then the current factories I can build here: meat, beer, weaving, fashion, sawmill, distillery, dairy, furniture, and ceramics. Nothing. And easy ones are cheap, but that's already more complicated. And as you can see, that isn't because it's done from a raw material. The distillery 680, while fashion is 580. That's because it's demanding two goods. Dairy 580, also because it's only requiring one good. Furniture 580 because it's only requiring one sawmill. And ceramics 680 because it demands two goods. And this is where the fun starts. A railway building. Now, next step. As you can see, we have a red and a green outlining, as well as a red station. The red area is the area where the city will develop to. And over time, I'm able to build there. The green area is what the city is now. And it also means this is the area I can build in. As you can see, that the moment I do this, the station turns white. I can actually squeeze one in if I want to, but I don't want it like that, because I also have to think about the future. As a matter of fact, I'm going to build differently this time. Because what I'm going to do is building two stations in Amsterdam and actually in every city, because I will start to split my train lines from the start into a passenger slash mail, no, let's call it express right away, into a station dedicated to express and a station dedicated to cargo. The reason for that is, although the cost will be a little bit higher early on, eventually it will actually pay out a lot. Don't think, yeah, I can. Let me think for a moment. Yeah, I can put the cargo here. No, I'm not allowed to build any stations. So, stations. First, track construction. We'll do that in a bit. cargo. Yeah. So my first step, like I said, this is going to be the nice part. Only thing I need to do, bring up some help, no problems. That's it. Now let me think. Here comes the nice part. I pay 12,000 and a bit for tracks. No overhead lines. Overhead lines is this. I don't need that. There's no electricity needed for trains yet. I can actually do this. As you can see, it adds 7.3k. And the price will go up. But I have to pay extra for each platform. So if I had chosen that one, which I actually can do, to pay 350,000, I have to choose this one because of the layout over here. So 50,000 extra for platform, 5,000 for earthworks, and that's because I will bring it up. You can see it will go down a bit. Keep that 0% nice flat, and 16,000 for the bridges built. And this is the auto mod to immediately build parallel tracks. Next, change track direction, because yeah, that's going to be needed. I will need it here too, by the way. Now, next part. See how this is doing. Perfect. Same things, more platforms. And as you can see, done. We'll do the same thing. Later I will probably add things like that offline. Eindhoven. Am I being stupid or... Yeah, I've been, well, not smart anyway. Can't build it yet. An early game, I will indeed fiddle a lot with the height to get the cost of earthworks down, if that's possible. Nice spot. Right now I can't do that actually. By the way, for those having the game and didn't know about this feature, it's under the age. I can also do it here if I want to, but that disappears the moment I bring it up. I will bring up the additional overlay later. So Eindhoven. And finally, and I can actually do that from here to train station. For my passengers. And I'm building it quite close because I want that to be as close as possible to the other tracks. And only turn away later. So, part one. Now comes the fun part. Gridirons. I can actually set them up choosing between anything from 2 tracks, and the use of it is a train coming in on this track can actually use the gridiron to either platform 1 or platform 2. That's the idea. But I did set it to 2. If I keep it at maximum, I will need a much longer distance, and in that much longer distance I'm also able to cover 4 tracks in this case, or even if I want to up to 8. But if I do up to 8, it will probably end up somewhere over here, and with that whole wide area will be blocked off if a train is on that track, meaning everything in front of it will have to wait. So I prefer for my cargo and passenger trains to use 2-track gridiron, except if I'm going to do something with my trains, which I'm about to do in a bit, because we currently have everything covered up. Last thing I need is a supply tower, and we have actually Amsterdam Eindhoven connected. We ain't there yet. Still got money left, so cargo on top. So passengers here. This is going to be expensive. Because I'm going to do a lot of earthworks. As you can see, it's going down now. Plus, I'm going to move to a third platform, so I have to spend 100,000. Now let's see. Change that a bit. Not really. That's better. You can see price actually dropped. Same thing, double platform, 100 extra. There's something I didn't show. This is my balance. This is something we're going to see later. It's easier to explain when the game is running as to yeah. Now here comes the fun parts. First station I'm doing is the cargo, the passenger train, which has to connect there. And as you can see, that doesn't work. There's a 558% incline. So what I'm going to do now is first of all start here, then move away a bit and turn not going to do this. It's number 3. But that's what my track is going to be, but I'm not going to do this. Absolutely not. No. Yada. You can see we got a tunnel easily because this part is going up a lot. Not gonna happen. already got half the price now. $19. 18. Maximum speed. This part will always be slow, there's nothing I can do about that. Maximum speed, maximum speed. Done. To 18.
Hey! You have completed this task.
Yeah, that one. Like I said, that's the easiest. I mean, we haven't even started yet. Now, the reason I was doing this to that point is because of the grid irons. Set it to maximum. Because right now, that was my whole purpose. Let's put it here. Let's finish things first. So I can actually have the trains start moving. Right now, with my current setup, I'm able to have my trains using four platforms in one go. Track is blocked by a building. Ah, man. Again. I have to build it to steps. So any train coming in on this track or on that track is able to choose for one of four platforms. So that means if I have a split passenger and mail service from Amsterdam to Eindhoven and the same thing from Amsterdam to Groningen, I can have four trains being served at this station before they actually leave. And I'm going to do the same thing over here as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it should be able to do it in one go. No, it isn't. Where is it blocked? The hell? Okay, then we're going to do it the other way around. Well, actually, because can't be giving that being blocked option right now. Disadvantage, I have to build all of them in bits and pieces now. Done. I'm going to do the same trick over here. Down. Or not. Because my construction was too short. Done. We've got the supply tower done. So the only thing I need right now is the other station, which is going to be added right now. This is actually a lot easier. One of the things I've learned of my solo games is to make sure that you don't add a fourth or more track grid iron to rural station. For a very simple reason, trains will always take the shortest route. So a train traveling on this track will actually move in, as you can see over there, take platform number 2, then move back out. If I use a 4-track rural station, this track will end up over there and then go back. Because it's ordered to use the outer track. And that could cause problems when a freight train is coming in and already standing here. So by using a 2-track grid iron, what I'm actually doing is making sure that my passenger trains will use those 2 tracks. If this one's occupied by a track coming in from the other side, it will still take the outer one, and those 2 tracks will be used for loading. Over time, I may actually expand outside. A bit too close. But over time, I may actually use it to expand outside to get some extra tracks for the trains. But at the time being, no. So we have currently everything connected but one station. And now you also notice why, no, that one. Having the guy with cheaper track construction is so useful for me. Of course, cheaper trains are nice. But yeah, track reduction like this, track price reduction like this, so useful. 2 grids. So this is all in preparation. I'm gonna do another supply tower. I got one. This is all in preparation for one of the goals. Get over here. Now 150, 150, it will go up. But I have to produce beer here at some point. So we will get a train going to Wanhoutse Farm to Bremen, from Bremen to Ludwig Breeding to Hamburg to Olrog Farmstead. Picking up grain, transporting beer from here to the other cities. That's one of the goals. For now, let's start by doing this. Maintenance depot, 90%. And I have to keep an eye on my costs now. But those are really important. New railway. Amsterdam. No, not yet. GS Central Station. That's pretty obvious, right? Oh, you know what? As well use it. I can do this another way, by the way. Okay, now let's start. Passengers. Choose locomotive. Not much choice. Loading. I can choose between automatic, express, freight, manually. I will choose express in this case. Amsterdam Centraal. As you can see, passengers, mailbags. Eindhoven Centraal. And I'm going to do stop there. Reason, the maintenance station. If trains require maintenance, they will stop over there and do so. If they require thought I had edited. If they require a refill of water, sand, oil, they'll stop that too. Utilization 0% because it's not running. I got one train. And I will call this, that's the fun part, because I will use some of the names of present railroad lines. No, this one is going south to two stations. That's number one. Next one, also express, same locomotive. I don't have any other choice. Um, this one's going to run clockwise at some point to Bremen, Hamburg, and probably down. We know more or less which cities it can transport from Amsterdam, so going down and then from Köln to Eindhoven and back. Thalys will go from Amsterdam, Eindhoven, Brussels, and Brussels is splitting to Luxembourg, then going down through Normandy, Lille to Paris. Because we need to travel from Paris to Auxerre, if I'm not mistaken, those two. Rams. Yeah, I think so. We'll see that. Look at that in a bit. So this one is going clockwise to Germany. That also means that I will do counterclockwise to Germany. Eindhoven, Köln, Farm, Frankfurt, Kassel, Gütersloh, Hanover, Bremen. Yeah, Hamburg. I'll have to check. But we have two trains going. Number 3, going to be a supply train. For freight. And I made a mistake somewhere. I also know which one. Because it's a one I usually make. I always forget it. Prince. Freight. Cargo. And now we have no. You can edit. So I can order my trains which goods picks up. I can order them how many, a minimum and a maximum. If I add a minimum of one car, it always waits until it has one car. I'm not going to do that though. So this one is going to supply city of Amsterdam with wool, corn, and I'm actually going to send it here too. make sure it adds grain to the trip. I have apparently forgotten something. Done. So that's the hole. I'm currently covering 3 out of the 5-6 goods I need. Next one. Here. Amsterdam. Picking up the cloth and heading back. Later I will have another later. Eindhoven is going to be a problem though. Because I can't add him. I can't add him. Unless make a long turn like that. And like I said before, I kinda made a problem with that because the station is too close. So Eindhoven, I will for the time being start there, heading to Eindhoven. To hang on, wrong button. I'm going to do it in reverse. That'll change. Because as soon as the city needs wool, yeah, maybe it doesn't need wool. So that's it. Let's center on the train. Now, this is what I meant. As you can see, I've got both trains being able to load up and actually leave at the same time. I'm curious which one of the two eject fast enough. 49 passengers, 24 mail. 49 passengers, 24 mail. So both have the same. Curious which one of the two will actually stop. Right. We will ride along in a while. As you can see, we already got two color dots on the map. So two of my competition have set up a railroad line from a city to a rural business somewhere. We're going to have a look at that in a bit. And that's what I meant about change. Tracks. It would have been a lot easier if it simply kept on this one. No, it went here and now it goes back to the outside. Because it's, shorter. So what we have on top, I can move that away. That's Eindhoven supply. This is my 7 days balance. It's added in the last DLC. And it's going to show me income by freight passengers, luxury passengers, mail and production. And here we go. It's a 7-day balance. So that's number 2. I need one more. And I did build a supply station. So we're currently losing 2,500 per week. Well, since I got this, it's no problem. We're 1 week further, and as you can see, we actually had 28,000 in income on freight. Well, we paid a little bit for personnel and fuel. So the total income was 24,875. It's very useful to quickly see what is actually causing a loss of money, if you have that. I already know which trains actually came in. First of all, you can easily see it because those two are gone. So first of all, we have a train over here dropping off Amsterdam and currently heading pick up corn. And we have the same thing with the cargo train. Full of beer heading this direction. And that's going to be third bonus. When that's done, I will probably do an auction and making sure that I'm going to get some of the early industries pretty soon. After that, we will jump aboard and ride along the train. Speaking of, got to show something. And that's the 184. The train will be unloading right now and loading up again. First things I'm going to do, I'm going to add a restaurant because that gives me 50% extra income. Also going to add a post office because of that 20%. So that's one. I'm going to do the same thing in Amsterdam. Later I will actually replace that restaurant, but I need to research something for that first. Now I got 337 left, so 345. I was afraid of that. Ding! That one is mine. For the time being, 80% train use, 3,000 profit, so not that much yet, but it will improve. Now that one was loading. See how many passengers want to go back to Amsterdam. 70 passengers, 46 mailback. No maintenance, water is okay, sand is okay, oil is okay. Let's zoom in a bit. Like I said, we're going to ride along later. And yes, just like Railroad Tycoon, we occasionally get this. In this case, Madam Watts had one of the trains doing speed records. That'll improve. And there's also some other news. Which is quite often funny to read. But leave it for a moment to read things. So look at my weekly profit all of a sudden, 34,000. Simply by bringing in freight and some passengers. And as you can see, freight is currently my major source of income. That will change. As soon as the trains enter the station with the post office and the restaurant, my express goods will actually increase in price, even despite negative trade for my CEO. Just thought about one of the tasks, or actually two of the tasks, causing some sort of conflict. And that conflict is that I have to buy 38% of somebody's company, stock of somebody's company. So with that in mind, easily block them off, but at the same time, at almost the other end of the map, I also have to transport passengers between two cities, which are going to become quite close to another competitor. And with that in mind, I'll have to buy those stocks as well. Well, we have a long time to go, so I don't immediately have to buy up the merge with all my AI competition. Eventually I will have to do that. Well, I want to do that, put it like that. It's not I have to, I want to. I have several options. Once I got 100% stock of the company, I want to merge with them. But the game is forcing me to do two things, complete opposite directions, which is going to complicate things. I'll show you what I mean. Leave this for a moment. Task list. 38% of Walter Pajong company. He is located in Halmstad. And like I said, it's very easy for him to cross over to Zeeland, Funen, Copenhagen, Næstved, Kolding, going down to Hamburg. It's quite easy for him to do that. So I have to block him off some way. At the same time, I have to transport 3,000 passengers from Paris to Auxerre. Paris, Auxerre. Now look at this. She's in La Rochelle. It's very easy for her. La Rochelle, Tours, Orléans, Auxerre, Paris. to do that. So yes, now we're talking about competition. As you can see, she dropped what something I would do too. The station between those two, although vegetables aren't needed yet. To supply La Rochelle with grain and vegetables. So that's one thing. He has probably done right the same thing, building a station near the grain farm. This is actually the Danube, so that's spring from Leeds. Later, probably moving on to Weiss, Salzburg, etc., etc. We're going to see what he's doing and follow. Don't see the growing signs yet of Amsterdam, so not much happening. See the supply. We have no grain incoming. We have 11 corn in stock at the moment. No wood, no meat. 1.9 in stock, but 8 incoming. 12 wool in stock, nothing incoming, and no cloth being produced. Which means there's no cloth being transported to Groningen, and there's no cloth being transported to Eindhoven. No. I can easily check the routes. Wondering think I already know what I did wrong. That's exactly. I know what I did wrong. That route need to visit one extra stop before it's heading to Eindhoven. What's it doing right now is picking up the wool, drop it off, then Eindhoven. And I may actually do that with train heading to Groningen as well. No cloth. One. Prince. Amsterdam. Back to Groningen. That way things should be better. But we have 8 beers coming in. So let's see how things are looking now. Still nothing, but that'll change. We're going to ride along for a bit. I will do this once. Well, I will do that on every frame actually. And for those of you who watched the Hay Fever series, this is pretty similar to what I've done before. Every once in a while I just like to ride along my train to see how everything looks from the engineer point of view. Because this engine, this game engine is very suitable for that. Later when we got tunnels it will even become more beautiful. You'll see. Get everything including the graphical pages. So the plans, well, I can tell you a little bit about while we're riding along. Like I said, I have to focus at two areas in one go. So, considering I need to buy stock of that one character, I will make sure that we won't be able to go far into Germany first. So my priority will should it? I was about to say my priority will be to head to Hamburg, supply it with enough goods, and make sure that I'm able to start beer industry over there. Because that's one of the goals. Beer in Hamburg, blocking him off. But at some point I'm also maybe able to get pretty soon into France right now. What we see in the distance are the Ardennes. That's actually close to Luxembourg. But I'm pretty, come back to what I was saying. I'm able to get pretty fast in France right now. So I may actually get the whole Paris-Auxerre line up and running quite fast too. And while that one's working, that one's running, concentrate on blocking off the other one. So 38% stock will be a problem, because every time I buy stock, stock price will go up, making it harder to buy the next one. So that's something to consider. I can't buy much in one go, but I do have to buy the stock, no matter what. To make things even more complicated, buy the stock, I have to wait up to a certain point in the game. So I won't be able to buy stock early on. I think I need to wait until June, so say 6 game month. So I got 6 game month to wait to make sure that I'm able to stop 2 AI competition from doing what I fear they will doing, and after that I have to buy 38% of stock, which is getting more and more expensive. And on top of that I also have to expand. It's going to be interesting, for sure. I know I can do it. But it's going to be interesting. Once I've achieved those 2 goals, I will start expanding more and more into the other countries, the other regions, and getting a better supply of my cities going, which eventually means that I will have to split my express trains into passenger and mail to maximize the income. My research options will help me with that. I think some of the goals can be achieved several years before the end date, or the deadline. Some will be very tricky. We'll see how things are going. At least I do have the experience in these games, and eventually I will end up having my trains sending all the way down to Spain, Italy, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, Britain, all corners of European map, transporting more expensive goods from other cities, from one city to multiple, things like that. Some things will always be tricky, like meat and logs for the Dutch cities will be very complicated. We'll see over time. So that's our trip to Eindhoven. Where's the other one? Let's follow him. Actually losing money right now. Everything that doesn't show funds haven't done a full trip yet. And it's going up again. also forgot to mention something up here. First of all, train data. Basically the same thing you can find here. Suitability, average speed, current speed, effective power, popularity, reliability, maintenance requirements, fuel consumption, and elevation profile should actually show if it's going up or down. Then we've got, of course, the balance, which we don't know yet because it hasn't even done the tour yet. If I add more trains, then the number of tours, waiting time, the total balance is going to change. Riding along, editing, that's the centering. I can copy this rail line. I'm going to do that once I will start to set up separate lines for passenger and mail. And I can even delete the line or just a single train, which I have no intention to do right now. So we're going to ride along on this train to the north once. $15,000. 31 days duration, 31.8% utilization, no waiting time. Balance 6,287, one tour per week, 1,411. And like I said, we're going to ride along because we're going to do that bridge. So, did I make a mistake on this one? No, didn't. Now, the nice part, later trains will be able to deal with this incline easier, but then they got problems with the curves. So they will eventually go up faster to a certain point. This is still one of the better looking options at least. once everything is going, and once city starts growing, income will increase and I will expand south first because I will need that sugar, at least for 2 of the cities. Groningen is really going to be a problem. Of course, one of the goals is to make that city the largest in the game at a certain date. This is actually one of the most boring long stretches I can have in the game. We're going to do this later with other trains probably as well. At least things are going faster that way. Yeah. There isn't much to see anyway right now. No resupply? Fine. So, here's the fruit farm. That means we're about halfway now. You see the other locomotive in the distance. That one is actually delivering beer to Amsterdam. So at least that part is working. So this is what it looks like from the front, or better said, if we're looking back. And around us, just try to make a typical Dutch landscape. Flat and tulip flowers. Well, the part we're driving through right now isn't actually flat in real life, so that's good representing things. It does have a little bit more trees as what we see over here though. But that part is wrong. But I guess you can't have it all. But we're almost there. by the time this train is back in Amsterdam, considering it's 31.8 I think days, say 32, left of February 2nd. So by the time this train is back, it's actually March. So that part done. That part isn't 3,000 profit. So yeah, that's going fine. 163. Let's see. That one's heading back to Amsterdam. Well, I saw two trains. Yeah, he's the other. That one's actually bringing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars of cloth. Nice. There's 8 beer coming in. Amsterdam still isn't growing. Oh, 8 grain coming in. Production of cloth has started, so that's a good thing. And I don't see the double. And the lady has just set up station to Nantes, and surprisingly, not the way I would do that, but following contour lines. It would have been less costly if she'd done this, passing that. Yeah, never mind. So my choice is, should I buy this part? Because I can connect to that. If I want to connect that, I will need a station. That's 50 plus 63. That means I got 26 left. This one will go to 50k, something like this, to Brussels. The important thing is that with it, I'm able to start supplying Eindhoven and Amsterdam with sugar. You need 5 goods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, you need this part to start to have the city growing. Right now, I'm lacking 1. Meat and logs are impossible. So if I add sugar to that trip, and probably the second train, let's see, yeah, may have the goods to have that city starting to grow. So I'll leave it here. This is for now the end of the first episode. I'm going to do one more thing. We don't have a quarterly balance yet, but I can still compare what I'm doing with the competition. And as you can see, I'm actually doing worse. My stock value is 46, company value 4.8, her company is 5.1, shorter route, less train stations, 2 cities connected, 2 business. He is at 4.9, so also doing that as I do, of course. 4.811. So actually I'm in 4th spot. He's only having a slightly less stock. 45,000. July 1st. So like I said, the first 6 months. So things aren't going that bad, good yet. But it will improve. As you can see, went from 1 to trains in use. No, not really more. Trade is peaking, then going down. That will change. Same with the revenue for passenger and mail. So the train balance is going up though. So yes, things will change. Things will become better at some point. This will be a little bit complicated, but I'm sure I can do that in 4 years. I got 6 years for that, 10 years for that. This is the task that I fear will become the worst. 10 years for stock, that should be possible. 6 years should also be possible. And with this part bought, I'm already one step closer to that goal. The only question is if I'm going to cross from Brussels to Lille, to Paris, or Brussels, Luxembourg and Reims. I think I'm going over Normandy to 18 to 50. Here, sugar. This is really going to be a problem. We'll see that in next episode though. For now, thanks for watching and I do hope you've been enjoying it. It's been a while since I did this, so we'll get more information later. I hope to see you next week. So I'm wishing you a very good week and I hope to see you then. Goodbye.